That's a very good question. So I love mentoring. I love doing it, and I don't think I'd ever stop doing it,
Yeah.
provided that I still can. For me, it's always been something extremely valuable to see somebody else grow and be a helping hand on that way. So
Mm,
I don't see it as much of a job or a chore or even like a
right.
position as much as I do as just my passion more than anything else. So for me, it's always something I've wanted to do, and I'll continue to do it. Some key principles and values. I think it's a bit difficult to answer this from a general perspective because it really does depend on the individual you're working with.
Right.
But I think what I would like them to have towards the end are obviously confidence in themselves, right?
Mm,
Because that's the biggest thing. If they're confident, they'll be able to exhibit that confidence, and that does
mm,
create a much better impression,
right.
right? I also think ensuring that they are flexible and adaptable to certain things too. So I
Mm,
guess showing them how being adaptive to certain situations is actually a very beneficial thing overall.
mm,
I think a third principle too is to stay, I suppose, open to opportunity. Not to get
mm,
stuck in one specific role and say, you know what, this is it. Because I feel that the more opportunities you get, the more that you do with yourself, the more of a well-rounded person you become.
yeah.
Working
And
at
you've
Art of
got,
Smart for me has been an extremely rewarding time, and it's a reason why I've stayed there throughout my whole degree, despite working at PwC or running my own business. I've found that to be an extremely consistent thing I've done because it's for me, it's more than just a job. For me, it's a mission, it's a passion. Um, and look, as I mentioned, I've been lucky to do so many things there. That's how I built up my skills in resource design. From HR, I got to learn from an interviewer's perspective what they're trying to look for. And that really helps in understanding, okay, well, how do you be that ideal candidate? I think as a tutor, you do have elements of mentoring that do exist. But if we were to
right.
separate those two and isolate them as two different things, I think tutoring is very much focused on producing that academic outcome, right? Getting that high mark, getting that ATAR, just sort of teaching content and revising content. But often it's not really the issue that students are facing, right? Because I honestly feel that any student can learn, but what
Mm,
the biggest struggle is not so much their ability to learn, but rather their ability to want to learn, if that makes sense. So that's where
right.
the mentoring sets in, right? Or even how to learn. They can learn, but don't have the tools on how to do so. So that's where the mentoring steps in, as a way to say, you know what, content aside, here's how you can actually work to be more efficient in your classroom, or here's how you can manage your time at home to make sure that you're staying on top of your work. And
Mm,
inadvertently that starts to bridge gaps between students' knowledge and the way that they work. And so that's why I honestly feel that when you are a tutor, you have certain elements of mentoring, but I think as a mentor, you're specifically focused outside of like that academic or numeric outcome, and rather
mm.
helping build up the individual from a personal sense.